Okay. Hi, Firdaus. So we are live now from Finity Academy. Yeah. So thank you for coming in this evening. Despite this month is your Ramadan month, so we are very grateful, privileged to have you tonight to share with us more about the Muslim market and also the Faraid laws and the Sharia compliant. Okay. Yeah. Hi, Firdaus. So we are live now from Finity Academy. Yes. Okay. Okay. So as the audience are coming in, so maybe we can just say hi to the audience, and then when you're ready, the mic is yours. Yeah.
Hi, thanks, Kira. Um, can I see, as in from the YouTube, it's just Finity Academy.
Sorry?
Uh, I opened the YouTube, right?
Yeah.
And the screen is just black and white. Finity, it just says Finity Academy. Are you able
Oh,
to see?
okay. Probably
Okay, can. Yeah,
is
now
the
can already.
is the streaming. Yeah.
Okay, can. All
Mm.
right. Yeah, good evening to everyone, and thank you for joining us on this evening, with regards to financial, sorry, yeah. Okay, now can already. Yep. Yep, again, yeah. Thank you everyone for streaming in to our YouTube live. And just a few things to note. Number one is we would greatly encourage for everyone to like and subscribe our YouTube channel, Finity Academy YouTube channel, because we are having a lot of live streams coming up, and we do want you all to benefit from it. So do turn on the push notification so that you can get instant updates when we go live. All right. And the next session will be on 24th March. It will be designing estate planning without violating the Faraid law. Yeah. So yeah, we can wait for a few minutes for others to come in, and then we can start proper. So as you may already know, the topic at hand for tonight will be regarding the female Muslims and the Islamic inheritance law. So there are definitely a lot of misconceptions, I would say, and this kind of conversations can be very emotionally charged, which is why I come in as a specialist in financial planning for Muslims, and I help financial advisors navigate this difficult question. So estate planning in general, as you may know, is a very sensitive topic, whether it be Muslims or non-Muslims. And furthermore, for Muslims, it can be more complicated considering there is this one controversial rule about females receiving less than males. Yeah, so I guess we can start in about 1 minute's time. And also, throughout the live stream itself, right? Feel free to drop any comments or questions in the YouTube live chat, and I will toggle between devices to have a look at the YouTube comments if there's any questions that I can address. So don't have to wait until the end of the live stream. Just put in your question there, and once I see, I can address it on the spot. All right. Also, to manage expectation, I won't be able to cover very in depth, but I definitely would want to deliver as much value as I can to address this topic tonight. Okay, so without further ado, we can begin. Let me prepare my slide to share screen. Okay. Yep. So most people would already know when it comes to Islamic estate planning or the inheritance law for Muslims, females receive less. So that we always want to address, or we always receive as Muslim financial advisors or Muslims in general, is Islamic inheritance law unfair towards females or women, right? So particularly when we're talking about getting life insurance, or planning the estate for our clients, we are thinking about our children, our wives or spouse getting the intended share that they should get, so that their lives can carry on even without our presence in their lives, right? So we always count like 9 times, 10 times their annual income, how much will their family receive, so that they can continue on their lives even without the income of the husband or the father. But then when we look at the Islamic inheritance law, the wives and the daughters will receive less, and not only less, like half of the males, right? Half of the sons, or the brothers will receive more. So here I would like to address that, and I believe it's more lack of knowledge and understanding more than anything. Yep. Okay, so some of the common problems that I have heard or I myself came across from the client side, they tend to bring up this concern. How can I give equal portion to my daughters? So this is both. The father and the mother would ask this question. How can I give equal portion to my daughters and not have my sons receive more than my daughters? Secondly is there a way that I can increase the estate which my wife receives? So the husband actually want the wife to receive more than his own son, more than his father, maybe. The third one would be, will my husband's brothers inherit from him? So this one is, the wife is asking the question, will my husband's brothers inherit from him? Which means I will receive less, right? Yeah. And then the next thing is, when these questions come to the financial advisor, the advisor will face another type of problem. Number one is, financial advisors may not necessarily understand the inheritance law for Muslims. So this applies to both Muslim and non-Muslim financial advisors. So for Muslim financial advisors, they themselves may not be familiar, what more the non-Muslim financial advisors. So this is a common concern that my colleagues, my friends in the industry come to me with this concern. Secondly is, both, again, the Muslim and non-Muslim financial advisors sometimes find it is unfair where the females receive lesser than males. Okay, so this is also a common statement. Lastly is, how can I, the financial advisor, help my clients plan for their estate without going Islamic law? Because the client may be practicing and they don't want to go against the Islamic law, but the financial advisor may not be well versed enough to advise in this regard. Right? So here I would like to debunk any myths and clarify any misconceptions. And again, like I said, more often than not is due to lack of understanding and information, not so much about the law itself being unfair. Speaking of which, what if there's a way that we as financial advisors can help our clients without going against both Islamic and civil law? So this is something that people may not necessarily think of immediately. So they tend to think about, how can I plan for my client's estate without going against Islamic law? But truth be told, living in Singapore, we also have to take into consideration the civil law. So there are certain things where the Islamic law has to coincide with the civil law. If not, the civil law will override. Because we are living in a non-Muslim country, so definitely the civil law, in some instances, will have higher powers than Islamic law. Okay. Secondly is, as financial advisors, right, it goes without saying, how can we open and close cases through estate planning? So I'm sure you have heard financial advisors or trainers talk about how estate planning can open big cases and can help them find more cases. So it's no different with Islamic estate planning or helping our Muslim clients with their estate matters. We can still use it to open and close cases. We just need to know how to go about it. And lastly, what if I tell you you don't actually need to know a lot of knowledge to do so? What I'll be covering today, of course, it won't be extensive or exhaustive, but how do I put this? It has been enough for advisors like myself and my colleagues in my agency to qualify for MDRT and COT with this information. So of course, not we don't like specialize in estate planning for Muslims. We specialize in financial planning for Muslims, which includes estate planning. So estate planning can bring us cases and closings just as non-Islamic or non-Muslim estate planning angles do. All right. Okay, so there's this term, Faraid or Faraid law, which translates as the Islamic inheritance law. Okay, so Faraid is the Islamic inheritance law. Right, so first and foremost, I would like to give a disclaimer. Islam, just like any other religion, is perfect, but the practitioners, the Muslims themselves, may not be perfect, myself included. Okay, so the doctrine is always perfect. If everyone follow the doctrine as it should, then the world would be a perfect place, right? But we know that that is not the case, lah, right? So yeah, so I just want to say that Islam is perfect, like any other religion, but the practitioners, the Muslims, may not necessarily be. Next, estate planning for Muslims falls under Faraid law, as I mentioned just now, Islamic inheritance. Third, so in Singapore, there are two main acts governing estate planning. For the non-Muslims is the ISA, Intestate Succession Act, and for the Muslims, it will be the Administration of Muslim Law Act. So this is the one. So this is very important. In Faraid, right, there is this male heir requirement. So there needs to be an immediate male heir that receives the estate. So this male heir will be the one in charge to take care of the other beneficiaries. So that is the whole point behind having an immediate male heir, number one. And number two, why they receive more than females. So why they receive more than females is because they are carrying the responsibility to take care of the females. So then it's not a case whereby they just take the money and go away. They are supposed to take care of the females that the deceased leave behind. In fact, if let's say the deceased doesn't leave much estate behind or anything for that matter, right? Especially after paying off any loans, etc. and whatnot, the males still bear the responsibility to take care of the females. The responsibility doesn't go away. So this is something that people sometimes don't understand or don't know, especially the males themselves. So when the males themselves don't know, they don't understand this part of the law, they just take the money and go away. So this becomes a problem because the males don't know, they don't understand, or worse, they know, and they choose to turn a blind eye and they don't carry out their responsibility. So that's where problems arise. So that's where the females will be seen as being taken advantage of. So we're talking about the wives, the daughters, the sisters, the mothers even. And when we're talking about the male heir requirement, right, it is primarily the husband and the father. So meaning to say my wife, right? So who are her immediate male heir, which is me and her father. So we are the ones who are supposed to take care of the the people that my wife would leave behind, i.e. my children with her. Okay, so that's how it works. So basically, in a nutshell, the males receive more than the females because they have a responsibility to take care of the females that the deceased leave behind. Number one. Number two, this responsibility is not excused if the inheritance that is left behind, the estate that is left behind is very little or nil. So which means to say, even if the deceased doesn't leave any money behind, the responsibility still stays. Okay. And number three is when we're talking about the male heir requirement, it's primarily the husband and the father. All right. Okay, so lastly is in Singapore context, right? We do have a governing body that advises the Muslim community in Singapore, which is MUIS, and we have like a head scholar in Singapore, which is known as a Mufti. Yeah, so the Mufti is the head scholar for Muslims in Singapore, and he works hand in hand with MUIS, which is the governing body uh, under the government also, is part of the ministry. And they come up with what we call as fatwa. Fatwa is basically legalities that is contextualized in today's day and age. So, for example, like during COVID, right? So, as many of y'all may know, Muslim men are supposed to pray Friday prayers every week. But then, due to COVID, due to health concerns, MUIS and Mufti mandates that we don't go Friday prayers. We stay at home for health purposes. So stuff like that. Yeah. So as time as time evolve, right, new things come up. That's where Muiz and Mufti will look at Islamic law and look at today's context, and they will come up with fatwa on how to go about and navigate today's day and age while not going against Islamic law. One of it is such as COVID, and another one will be regarding inheritance, which I'll touch on as we go along. Okay, so in Faraid, under Islamic inheritance, there is something called mandatory beneficiaries. So they are the parents, the spouse, and the kids. So just now I mentioned about the male heir requirement. So as long as you have a male heir in any of these three groups, the money, the estate would not flow out of these three groups of people. So meaning to say, if let's say my wife passed away, but I'm still around, right? So the money won't flow to like my siblings or her siblings. If I pass away, my wife pass away, but her father is still around, the money also won't flow out. Our daughter will still get the money. And then the third one is children. If we have a son, and then I pass away or my father pass away, the money will still be kept within the immediate family nucleus. It will not flow up to the uncles and the cousins and all that, which is also a common misconception. One of the common questions that I get from clients is that, will my husband's brothers get the money? Will my uncles, come into the picture? So as long as you have a son, your father is still around, your husband is still around, you are safe. Okay. Yep. And then there's this thing about wills. So Muslim also can write will, but the key thing about Muslim will, which is one of the main differences between a Muslim will and a non-Muslim will, is the fact that for us Muslims, we can only bequeath up to a maximum of 1/3 of our estate to non-beneficiaries. Okay, so what it means is that 2/3 of our estate is mandatory to give the mandatory beneficiaries. So 2/3 of my estate must give to my parents, must give to my wife, must give to my children. 1/3 I can give to anyone else. I can donate, I can give to my siblings, for example. I can give to any like relatives who are in need, stuff like that. So up to 1/3 I can bequeath. Okay, so from here we see that the will is not a holistic solution for us Muslims when it comes to estate planning, especially wrestling with the fact that females receive less than males, right? So, and as you know, a will can be contested in some cases when it's brought to court. So it's not the best solution. So what can we do as financial advisors to help our clients? Okay, so there's something called hiba. Right? So hiba is an Arabic term which means gift. Okay, so hiba means gift, and it's like any other gift. Like I give you a gift, then nobody can question it, right? And one key component about hiba is we have to be alive when we do the gift, which means to say it cannot be inside the will. Okay, so it's two separate documents. You want to give a hiba? Can. It has to be a separate document and it takes effect now when you are alive. Okay, so this is where the civil law and the Islamic law come together. Okay, so MUIS have seen the nomination contracts, the joint tenancy contracts. These two contracts are recognized by MUIS as a form of hiba, where the living gives to anyone that they want, and it does not bypass the Faraid law. It does not go against the Islamic law at all, because we give gifts when we are alive, right? So I can give my phone to anyone that I want, right? There's no restriction to it. There's no law saying that, oh no, I cannot give more than 1/3 of what I own to anyone. No. So nomination, joint tenancy are forms of contracts that are recognized by MUIS as hiba. So we can give whoever we want to give. There's no restriction at all. Meaning to say, if you have a policy, you can nominate 100% to your wife, 100% to your daughters. So to ensure that they will receive much more estate compared to your sons or compared to your father even. Okay. And then of course we have a trust. So trust also, we have to do intervival. And you have to do living trust. If you want to do testamentary trust, it has to have certain conditions. So I won't go into depth, but basically testamentary trust can only be applicable or allowed if you have very special cases or reasons, such as you have children who are special needs. They are really in need of financial support throughout their life. So even the Special Needs Trust Company, SNTC, they also have a partnership with MUIS for that. But in most cases, we have to do a living trust. So let's say, for example, you want to do a living trust, but you don't have like a lot of cash on hand or a lot of assets, but you can buy a policy, right? So you can assign the policy to the trust. Okay. If not, as you know, there are two types of nomination forms. There is the irrevocable and the revocable nomination forms. So the irrevocable nomination is a type of trust, right? It's a trust nomination. So you don't even need to open up a trust. Okay, so if you get where I'm going, you can see how our insurance products can help our Muslim clients with their estate planning matters. Okay, yeah. So as I mentioned, we need to take into account both civil and Faraid law in Singapore. We cannot only appease to one. And of course, civil law in some cases may override Faraid law. Okay, so let's go through a few case studies. Number one, this client, so all this applies to males, right? The client, assuming they are males. First, the client has one wife, has one son, and one daughter. Okay, so if you recall what I mentioned, the three categories of primary beneficiaries, the mandatory beneficiaries, parents, spouse, and children. So right now, if the male client pass away, they have a son, which falls under the children category. So which means to say the husband's estate will be given to the wife, to the two children, and his parents only. So the wife do not have to worry about her late husband's siblings coming into the picture. Okay, so that's number one. Second case study, this male client do not have any sons, only have a wife and two daughters, and his father is still around. Okay, so in this case, no sons under the children category. Okay, but he has a father. So his father is still around. So it covers the primary male heir requirement. So meaning to say, the male client passed away, his wife, his two daughters, his father, and if his mother is still around, also will receive. Okay, so the wife, again, the wife and the daughters do not need to worry about the husband's brothers coming into the picture. The third scenario, no sons, only daughter, father no longer around, and this male client has a brother, has brothers. Okay, so when we look at the family tree, right, the three male requirement, no sons under the children category. Spouse, of course, the husband is the one, so passed away already, and then his father is no longer around. Okay, so what happens now? So this is the unfortunate case where yes, the husband's brothers will come into the picture. Okay, so let me share with you this one. Okay, so if you all can Google, this is open to everyone. It's online. You can Google Faraid calculator SG. Okay, so when you search, you just look for the first one. So if there's any ads, you just scroll through lah. Okay, so over here, it is the online trial inheritance calculator. So top left, as you can see, is a Singapore government agency website. It's directly under Sharia court. So it's a legitimate website. Okay. And then over here, this is the part where I mentioned you don't need to actually have a lot of information or knowledge or memorize a lot of things. Okay. Because everything is here. So I do it for myself. Let's say, for example, so I'm a male. I select male. Okay. So this one, right? Again, I won't go into details. If your client know which school of Muslim law they fall under, then select accordingly. If they don't know, just select the first one, Shafi'i. Okay, most Muslims in Singapore follow the Shafi'i school of law. Okay, so in this scenario, no sons, no father, only leave behind daughter. Sorry, brother have. Got brother. Okay, let's put brother. Daughter and wife. Let's say his mother is still around also. Okay, so as you can see here, you just have to punch in whatever details in the family tree. So if have sons, nephews, son, cousin, brothers, all include in. Okay, and then for the female side also the same. So as you can see, there's a difference. Half sister, same father, same mother. Okay, so just key in accordingly, right? Then we click calculate. Okay, so in this scenario, what we can see is this male client, when he passed away, all of his estate will divide into 48 parts. And then this is the distribution. Who will receive the most? His daughter, followed by his mother, and lastly, his wife. Okay? And his brothers will also receive. So the brothers receive a portion of his estate, and the brothers are supposed to take care of the females here. Okay? So now a few things. Number one is the wife may say that, well, yes, the mother took care of my late husband until he grew up, but I'm the one who has to take care of our daughter now, right? I need more money because I'm raising our daughter. My daughter receives so much, but she is a minor. She cannot take the money and use the money anyway. Point number two. Point number three is the mother also may say, yes, you need the money now to take care of your daughter, but I'm an old lady. My husband also passed away. I also need money to survive, right? And then the brothers of the deceased husband, they get some portion. So now the question is, will they be responsible enough to take care of the deceased brother's wife and daughter until she reach age of maturity, she can work and stand on her own 2 feet, or until she gets married? Okay, so there are a lot of things that comes to mind when we talk about estate planning and when we take into consideration the females in the family. These are all very common concerns, and I've also faced a number of queries regarding this. Okay, so again, number one, Islam is perfect, Muslims are not. Okay, so individuals have to assess the situation. Do I believe that my brothers will be responsible enough to take care of my wife and daughter? Point number one. Point number two, even if they are responsible, will my wife and daughter be comfortable with them taking care of them? Being part of their decision-making process, their day-to-day lives and everything. So they may not be comfortable. Maybe, when the husband was still around, they talk normal, right? Family gathering, they interact as per normal. But then when we are talking about the livelihood and finances and caretaking, the wife may not necessarily be comfortable, right? So it raises that question, can I take care of myself? Can I not, take my brother-in-laws into this picture? But then I also want their money, or I need more money because I am raising a daughter, right? And maybe before this I was housewife, now I need to go back to work, etc., etc., right? And of course, the mother also is aged. So the only relationship that makes sense here is for the brothers to take care of the mother. The wife and the daughter, more often than not, most of the time today, they would rather detach themselves from the husband's brothers. So naturally, of course, the deceased wife, the widow, would want to go back to her brothers, right? It makes a lot of sense for if let's say if any brother were to take care of her, she would rather go back to her own brother, right? It only makes sense. So that is where our estate planning comes in. That's where we can come in to help them with insurance products. All right. Yeah, so this is the calculator. You can Google it on your own and play around. You can give different scenarios also. Okay. So let me pause here for a while. I saw some comments. Hi, Firdaus from Miss Kaching. You have shared interesting topic. What if I'm married into a Muslim family? What are the complications in Faraid law? You married into a Muslim family. Complications in Faraid law. Okay, so I would say complication is a strong word. So I would say there are no complications at all. The difference would be for you to marry into a Muslim family. I believe you have embraced the religion of Islam, which makes you a Muslim yourself, right? Which means to say you as I believe you're a lady, right, Miss Kaching? Yeah, so I believe that you being a female, you will receive as part of the yeah, thank you. Yeah, so you will receive part of the estate from your husband should he pass away because you fall under the three mandatory beneficiary categories. You are the spouse, so you will definitely receive a share. Okay, so if you play around with the calculator, you can play around with like how many kids you may have. Your husband passed away, the father passed away first, mother passed away first. There is no scenario where you will not receive your husband's estate. It is compulsory for you to receive. And if anybody dispute, you can and you should go to Sharia court and you explain to them the situation. Uh, so yeah, you are safe. You are very safe. Definitely, you are safe. Yeah. So again, this is also a common concern, common worry that our Muslim friends, especially who just converted to Islam, this is something that often comes up. So on my free time, I do volunteer at Arkham. So for those of you who know Arkham, Arkham is the institution in Singapore that is assigned to help new reverts, new Muslims who come into the religion. So I witnessed their conversion, and then I know there are courses and classes to guide them. Yeah, so this is something that the new Muslims who come in is a common question that they pose. Yeah, so definitely you are safe, even if you don't have any sons. Definitely you are very safe. It's just a matter of what if you don't have any sons, and if your father-in-law, right, pass away. So that is where your husband need to think about how to ensure that you receive enough of his estate to not depend on his brothers. So that is the question that I always help my clients answer. So even for myself, right, I only have one daughter. I don't have sons also. So now the question I think for myself, for my wife is that how can my wife and my daughter be self-sufficient so that they don't have to depend on my brother? So I'm not saying my brother is not responsible. I'm just saying that things may change, circumstances may change, he may have a change of heart, we never know. right? Things may change with people. So somewhere in the future, if my brother, let's say his hands are tied, he's also busy and occupied with his own family matters, and he may not be able to discharge his duties to my wife and daughter. I want to make sure that they are self-sufficient, so they don't have to depend on my brother or even my father, who is also elderly. Yeah. Okay. Next, forex slowly but surely. Is the Muslim law in Singapore same as Malaysia? I am inclined to say no. I don't know for a fact. So I will admit I don't know for a fact. Faraid law or Muslim law in general is the same anywhere in the world. Having said that, different countries may have different laws governing estate planning, because like I said, the civil law, right? The civil law. So in Singapore, being a non-Muslim country, we have to make sure our Islamic law doesn't go against civil law. So civil law will always triumph over Islamic law. But for other countries, such as Malaysia, being a Muslim country themselves, it might be that the civil law and the Islamic law is the same because they are a Muslim country. So to answer your question, I would say likely is different, especially considering the fact that, for example, in Singapore, properties more often than not on a lease, right? So for other countries, they may not necessarily have a lease, so they can actually like hand down the properties to their families better than us lah. Yeah, so for that, you would need to check with the legal experts in Malaysia. We have one more from Raymond Sim. Why the number of shares is only 48? I assume this is a percentage. What happens to the other 52? It's not percentage, it's just divided in parts. So 48 equals to 100%, if that makes sense, Raymond. Yeah, so 48 is 100% percentage. So 100% is divided into 48 parts. Okay, so if it's confusing, you let me know. I can explain again. But yeah, thanks for bringing that up. Okay, so 48 parts is equivalent to 100% in percentage. Woman Charter law, a man cannot marry more than one wife. Is this true? Woman Charter law, yes, it's true. Yeah, but for Muslims, yes. Yeah, welcome, Raymond. So yes, Miss Kaching, Muslim Chartered law, I did not check. I cannot verify. But I would imagine it's true. But then again, I believe I know where you're going with this. In Islam, yes, men can marry more than one wife, but there are a lot of requirements to be met, which again, this tends to be taken out of context. People misunderstand, especially the men themselves. So the responsibility is very heavy. The man needs to be financially capable of taking care of more than one wife. The man needs to be fair in terms of treatment and time management also, which in most cases are not. And this rule about men can marry more than one wife in the Quran, Allah, our God Himself has said that the instruction is to marry one, but you can marry four. Okay, so God is telling us marry one. That is better for you. Like, especially if you cannot be fair, but you can marry up to four if you want. Yeah, so that usually gets taken out of context lah. People just take that one part only. Yep, welcome, Miss Kaching. Okay, so as you can see, our financial products are very, very well positioned to help our Muslim clients. Number one is you can use these conversations to open up the discussion about estate planning. And then once your Muslim clients start to think, right? So it can be both directed to the female Muslims and the male Muslims. So the female Muslim, you can ask like, hey, are you aware that you will receive a small portion compared to your own son, number one. Are you aware that if your husband and your father-in-law pass away, your brother-in-laws will come into the picture? So nothing against the law itself, but if you would like to better protect yourself and your daughter's future, you might want to do something to ensure that you receive more estate, more inheritance from your husband. So similarly for the husband as well. Yeah, so how can you do that without going against Islamic law? You can purchase insurance, life insurance, and then make a nomination. If you want foolproof, make a trust nomination. Then you don't have to worry. So this thing about trust nomination, I being inexperienced at the point in time, I was prospecting this lead, and then he was telling me that there's another financial advisor telling me to do up a trust because nomination is not strong enough. It can be contested. So at that time, I didn't know how to handle the objection, so I lost the case. the fellow went ahead with the other financial advisor. And then I realized that, hey, actually, they can do an irrevocable nomination and it's the same as a trust nomination. So you don't have to do up a trust. You don't have to do a separate trust. Our financial products are good enough already, right? Doesn't matter you close an ILP your whole life or term plan, make a nomination or even a trust nomination, and then our clients are set. And then they can nominate their daughters, their wives, they can nominate more to them. And this is completely allowed when it comes to Islamic law. It doesn't go against Faraid law. No one can contest it because it's a form of gift. Okay, and furthermore, if you all know, when a client passes away, right? Even for CPF, they will directly transfer the money to the beneficiaries, and other parties will not know. Other parties won't know that how much this person received, whether or not this person received even at all. Yeah, so nomination more than good enough. And if you want to take it up a notch, you can always do a trust nomination. Okay, let me resume sharing my screen. Thank you for all the comments and questions. Keep them coming. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so something to take note. Whether you do nomination, trust nomination, the intent cannot be to bypass Faraid law or Islamic inheritance law for selfish reasons. So by selfish reasons, it could include things like I favor my daughter more than my son. So that is selfish reason. So something common is when um, the elderly clients may say that my son is useless. My daughter always take care of me. My son don't do anything, don't even show up, don't call me, and all this. And they feel like they want to reward their daughters because of their filial piety. Okay, so something that we need to acknowledge, admit, understand, and accept is the fact that the Faraid law, the inheritance law, is not meant as a reward for the beneficiaries. Um, and it has no correlation with how filial the children is to the parents. Again, this is a very sensitive topic, and it makes the most sense. It is very logical for the parent to give more estate to the children who treat them better. Right. So I met this guy before. He said that, oh, my estate planning all settled already. Then we were talking about investment. And when I asked him, do you find that your estate planning is already fair, right? And then he says that to him it's fair. So when he elaborates, he says that he does give more to certain child over the other because he felt like this child deserved more. So to him it's fair, but the children may not find it's fair. So in terms of fairness, we take that out of the equation. We follow what Faraid law, inheritance law is meant for. So the intention of estate planning and Faraid law is to take care of the living, especially the vulnerable, the kids, the elderly, the woman. Okay, so the intent of estate planning and Faraid is not meant to reward people. It's not meant to get back on certain people. It's not meant to it's not meant for any what's the word? The word doesn't come to mind, but it's not meant for it's not we cannot have malicious intent. We cannot do estate planning, or we cannot make nominations just for the sake of restricting certain group of people. So that is not allowed, right? So we need to have valid reason. So the valid reasons, it could be due to taking care of the females because we are concerned that the males may not be responsible enough, right? So later on, I can touch on these types of categories of men that may not be in the position to discharge their duties. And for those due to receive their share, especially the Faraid beneficiaries, they should receive at least some, if not all, their intended share, because this is God's will. This is God's plan, right? So we believe that God is all wise and He has a plan in place. There are reasons why He wants certain group of people to receive. That much we have to believe and we have to follow. So say for example, like even for me, I do nominate to my wife, I do plan for my daughter, but I still make sure that my brother receives some share. So I don't restrict him from all my estate. So he should still receive some, but I give my wife more so that my wife and my daughter will remain self-sufficient. So that is the way it should be like, because the intent, the motive, the objective is it should be to take care of the living that we leave behind and not to restrict the people that we may not feel comfortable with or we don't like them. Okay, yeah. So estate planning can and should be done to facilitate distribution, just like for non-Muslims, the same, to prevent disputes, to sincerely wanting to relieve the responsibility from the men. For this, right, some beneficiary, especially the men, they may not necessarily be in the position to take care of the living, to take care of the females that the deceased leave behind. So, for example, the men are not of sound mind, right? The father-in-law may not be of sound mind, or the father himself may not be of sound mind. So even if he receive his share of the estate, he cannot take care of himself, let alone, the deceased wife and the deceased children. So might as well give someone of sound mind, where that person can even take care of the father himself. The next one, maybe the guy is serving prison sentence. You know for a fact he's not living. He will stay there until he die, right? There's no point in him receiving the money. He also cannot take care of the living outside of prison. So give the money to those outside, and they can use it to take care of the rest of the people that the deceased have left behind. Yeah, so we want to make things easier, faster, and simpler, but at the same time, again, I stress upon the fact that estate planning nominations should not be used wrongly to bypass Faraid law, or um, to restrict certain groups of people from receiving their share. Okay, so this is what I can touch on with regards to estate planning and how we can help our Muslim clients. You can propose life policies, and then you make nominations. You can even make trust nominations, and this is a form of gift that a Muslim can give to anyone, and it's not restricted to amounts or percentage. It does not bypass Islamic law at all. When they pass away, this is not something that is even part of estate planning at all. Sorry, it's not part of the Faraid distribution. It's not part of the inheritance, actually, because once we talk about inheritance, we're talking about everything else that is not nominated. So the nomination is like a gift that they're just there to collect. Okay. All right, so yeah, we have come to the end of it. I can open up for Q&A, and there's one more. Hold on, let me just stop share screen. As an advisor, what is the best way to protect my client, wife, and daughter? He also has a son. Okay, so considering he has a son, number one, the money will not flow out of the immediate family nucleus, i.e., the wife, the daughter, the son will receive a share of the husband estate. Okay, at most, the husband's parents will receive. Okay, so what your client can do, if your client wants to further protect the interests of the wife and the children, is the client can take up life policies with yourself, and then nominate the wife and the children. Yeah, so they can even do asset equalization, right? Let's say, for example, based on the current estate, the son will receive this much, the daughter will receive this much. So nominate this much to the daughter, so the both children will receive equal amounts. Then of course you can nominate more to the wife as well, lah. Okay. Yeah. Sean, I have a client who has a Muslim name, now a Singapore citizen. He does not go to any mosque or practice religion. How does the government determine who to apply Sharia law to? Good question, Sean. So when a Muslim converts in Singapore, right? They have to go to Arkam, and they need to register. So when they register, they will receive a card. So this is an official card. This card is recognized globally. So when they pass away, right, the family just need to present this card to the funeral house and say that this person is actually a Muslim. Yes, this person born a non-Muslim, but he or she converted. This person's estate should be managed as a Muslim. So there is that card. If let's say there isn't the card as well, right? Arkam or the government will have records of this person's conversion. But in your case, doesn't practice the religion at all, right? So even though they are not practicing Muslims, because their name has been captured when they convert, then they would be handled under the Administration of Muslim Law Act, unless they convert but did not declare, or they convert overseas, and then they come to Singapore as a citizen. Eventually they become a citizen, and the government has no records of them converting into Islam, then that is when they will follow the ISA lah. Yeah, so to answer your question, yeah, we have a registry that tracks Muslim converts in Singapore only if they declare. If they don't declare, we also won't know. Yeah, I hope I answer your question, Sean. Yep. He neither convert or renounce yet. Okay, so if I may clarify, so Muslim name means this person is a Muslim or just have a Muslim name? Neither convert or renounce yet. But basically, this person is a Muslim, lah, right? As long as this person is a Muslim and Singapore citizen, then they should have declared somewhere to the government their religion, right? Yeah. So as long as there is official documents to prove that he or she is a Muslim, then their estate will be managed as a Muslim under the Administration of Muslim Law Act. If there's no official records, then they will not. He came from India with a Muslim name. He came to Singapore. Okay, but when he became a citizen, did he declare? Did he declare as a Muslim when he became a citizen? Because as long as he declares, then he will be subject to the administration of the Muslim Law Act. If not, then it will be ISA unless his family declares that he's a Muslim. Yeah. Okay. Thank you for your question, Sean. If you need further clarification, I can still assist you as well. Um, it's very he did not declare. I mean, if he did not declare, then yeah, he will be under the Interstate Succession Act lah, unless his family declares so. Okay. Welcome, Sean. Yeah, I like how the comment section is very interactive, even though it's a small group, but I feel like we managed to cover a lot of things here. And we are closing in on 50 minutes now. So it's been a very interactive session. I thank you all for your questions and your comments and the conversations that we are having. It's definitely very fruitful. I can still wait for a few more minutes to open up any more questions or any comments that you all may have. Maybe I can put the link for the inheritance calculator in the comment section as well. But this one, hold on. Maybe I put here.
Thank you, Firdaus.
Yep.
Yeah, maybe you can also share our upcoming live stream because today is only your first session. So in the
Yes.
month of March, we have also invited you to share many other topics. So maybe you can just give a glimpse, of what to expect for the upcoming sessions. Yeah.
Yes. One moment. Okay, so in 2 days' time, our friend Darren Tan, he will be touching on a case study, learning from latest developments regarding joint accounts. This is a case study that may shock many. So you are cordially invited to attend the live stream again, where our friend Darren will be touching on another aspect of estate planning that may not necessarily be something that is how do I put this? Knowledge that may not necessarily be widespread. Yeah, okay. And of course, we do have other live streams coming up as well. For myself, will be on 24th and the 31st of March. I will continue the topics on Islamic estate planning, how we can further open doors for insurance and investment conversations, and how we can design estate plans for Muslim clients without going against the Islamic inheritance law. And we do have plans for other live streams every week. Yep, as shown there, Darren and Hao Jun. For Hao Jun, he will be sharing on how we can use AI to help our clients come up with retirement planners, insurance comparison tools, financial health scorecards, and even portfolio risk assessment. And for our friend Darren, he is an expert in estate planning in general, so he'll be covering more on how we can further open cases and talk to our clients on about estate planning and how they can use insurance product to complement their estate plans. Yeah, so you are very much welcome. So a reminder to like and subscribe to the Finity Academy channel and turn on the push notifications so you can be notified on the upcoming live streams from myself, Darren, and Hao Jun. Okay?
Okay, thank you, Firdaus. Thank you so much, and thank you for all the audience that have stayed with us for the last 1 hour. I really enjoyed today's session, Firdaus, because you see, there are non-Muslims. They are so curious about the Muslim market and the Faraid law, and this really shows a genuine curiosity and willingness to understand different perspectives. So, and today your sharing is really very insightful, and how as an advisor can protect their clients, wives, and daughters. Yeah, okay. So I really hope all of them can come again to tune in for your next session, which will be even more interesting. We will share a lot of case studies and a lot of insightful. So for those who are still tuning in with us, if you have any burning questions that you want to ask Firdaus, just feel free to WhatsApp Kyra, and I will convey your questions to Firdaus. Yeah, thank you again, Firdaus. And although this month is your Ramadan month, I really thank you for your willingness to even share in this month. And we really wish you Selamat Ramadan if there's such wishes. Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you, everyone. And join our
Okay.
Telegram channel. Okay,
Okay.
bye-bye.
Can, yeah. Everyone, let's help us to say thank you to Firdaus before I end the live stream. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Yvonne. Thank you, Miss Kaching.